I sat down next to the person that I just told to get out of my fucking seat.
Yeah.
And we brought food too. And, as a gesture of...
You're a bowler.
Now that we're past this, you know, I had to yell at you and all.
You literally break
bread.
I
said, would you like this? And he shunned me away.
Yeah.
He was deeply offended, by the way. I'd spoken with him.
Well, yeah, you probably did something...
In his country...
Culturally, yeah.
You get a sword over your head, you know?
Over it.
I don't know.
Okay.
He's like, hey, man, why couldn't you just ask me?
It's spooky season. We talked about it on, I can't remember what show we talked about.
PMC, I allowed you on my platform to talk about the, what is it, A24? Is that the production company?
There's a lot of spookies, a lot of spooky scaries coming out. And
ask me my favorite genre movies.
How about you clear your
I'm
throat?
gonna let the white trash mimosa go down your fucking esophageal. Fucking
it's horror films.
Yeah.
The spookies.
So I went to go see one of those spookies that we talked about.
All right, so there were three. One was called Smile.
One was called Pearl, and one was called Barbarian.
Well, there was one called Smile, which was my favorite. I was like, that's what I'm going to go see.
Yeah. Barbarian, I went to go see. One of the best movie-going experiences I've had in a very long time.
Why? Because of the movie or because you saw something that made you laugh?
Well, that wasn't the last one that we all said that looked like the worst, like the really cartoon.
No, Pearl looked like the worst, which is just a masturbatory A24 movie where a girl in a farm town slaughters animals. No, I don't want to watch a duck get decapitated with a pitchfork.
That's what the movie's about?
Yeah, I don't want to watch that.
Okay.
Anyways, we go to see this movie, Barbarian. The clock at the movie theater is still broken. They don't know how to make the Negroni. It was one of the worst Negronis.
Oh, you're at one of those fancy... A lot of people, the filthy, yucky normies, they just show up at a Cineplex on a Friday. There isn't a fucking open bar there before they can go in and watch the movie.
Well, at a Cineplex... Or are we talking about like a Cinepolis, or are we talking about...
I'm just saying, the audience that's listening to us, some of them may be confused, like, what are you talking about, Negroni? You went to go see a movie.
There are bougie movie theaters in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
It's Tinseltown.
Yeah.
Okay.
They had zero alcohol at any of the movie theaters except like the second run movie theater, which was actually really kind of romantic. Everything was like old and popcorn and stuff, but they sold beers out of plastic cups there. And the movies were $2.
Okay.
But
like a full bar, a Negroni?
Yeah.
No.
He's ordering a Negroni. I don't even think half the audience knows what that is.
One part gin, one part Campari, one part sweet vermouth, and a little orange. These people don't. How can you fuck that up? You just got to dilute it. And anyways, I don't want to get hung up on that, all right? We go to see this movie, Barbarian. You know full well how much I hate people who talk in movies. I've gotten into trouble in the past. My least favorite movie-going environment are these newfangled, really the future of movie-going, the blanket, waitress and waiters, the recliner chairs, so that people get duped into thinking they're in their own home and they can talk to their spouse or friend.
Look at their phone.
Look at their phone. The waiters are coming up and down the aisles. Can I get you more fucking pulled pork nachos? We're watching a movie.
Check drop at the climax.
Yes, check drop.
Dylan, or I've mentioned this like at least 8 or 13 times on this podcast. One of my last movie-going experiences where I announced to the wife, no more, was when we sat next to a group of 13-year-olds and they were fingering each other.
Right.
And I could smell some of the stuff coming out of the, the fingering. And I was like, no more.
You didn't need to
bring that up.
Not the smell.
Well, I that was the reason why. I very have a lot of senses going on there, and I was like, I told the wife, no more movies. We're gonna buy an 85-incher, and I didn't even know they existed at that point.
I would implore you, and everyone listening who wants to go see a spooky, to go see Barbarian in a movie theater, because horror movies are one of the only, if not the only, cinematic environment where it's a little okay to talk. You have people going, no, nope.
Don't go in there.
Don't go in there.
Stop it.
People screaming. People
Run.
run.
Behind you?
Or it was...
Sometimes it's a cat jumping out of the closet, and just then the girl that you're on a date with, she grabs your shoulder.
There was solidarity amongst all of us watching
I love
this
that you're
film.
saying that, because you don't need to go see a George Clooney, Anne Heche vehicle this year, where it's about a romance that happens in New York City. He's a publisher. She's a real estate
Sick
agent.
rip. Oh my God.
Like, you don't need to go to a movie theater to see that film. Watch that at home in your bed.
Did you say Anne Heche vehicle as a pun?
Yeah.
Did I say that?
I didn't pick up
She's
on the
dead.
pun. I was just shocked at the example he gave.
Right.
I know exactly the movie type of movie you're talking about, but what an example and
Right.
great pickup.
You don't
Yeah,
need to
yeah.
see that in a movie theater because you watch that at home.
Well, you need to see, ideally, most movies in a theater, because that's how they were intended to be viewed. But it doesn't matter.
People are rude now, Dylan.
I'm not going to save exhibition. It's just not going to happen. But I would implore people to go try and see movies, especially Barbarian.
Second to last movie that I haven't gone to a movie the last movie I saw in a theater was The Founder. I think that's like 5 years ago. The woman sitting next to me, she was chewing gum. I think it was Dentine. Do you know how gross Dentine smells when someone's chewing it? And
No, I
she
don't.
had bad
'cause I
breath
think the
too.
purpose of Dentine is for it to smell like Arctic ice.
But maybe it's like one of those things like when you go to the bathroom and you try to cover it with that spray.
It
Like
smells-
this woman's
yeah,
shit breath
right.
smelled so bad.
Halitosis
The mix
and Arctic ice.
was just somewhat pleasant.
Right.
I'm
pleasant
not
Arctic
going
ice.
there. Dylan, we've said on this show very often, don't go places. We mean like other countries or,
Or other states if you have to travel.
Yes.
In the air.
I'm disagreeing with Dylan. Don't go to movie theaters anymore. Use that money, save it, because it's too expensive to go up to the Cineplex. Best Buy's got a deal now. For $1,300, you buy an 85-inch.
Best Buy doesn't have those TVs. They're out.
Oh.
Okay.
They have the deal. The deal is available.
They still
The
have
TV is not.
The TV is not there. The sound bar, they have that.
Oh.
And a washer dryer unit.
Do you guys have a USB-C? What? What are you talking about? I'm fucking high, man. Leave me alone.
No cords, but can I
The worker at Best
interest
Buy.
you in this Maytag?
Yeah. So we get into the movie theater, and there is a woman sitting in our seats, and I decide I'm not going to mess around with that. Let's go all the way to the end of the row.
But then you're going to be in other people's seats.
Which is what my sister and my wife quickly reminded me. I went and I said, "Excuse me, do you mind scooting over one?" And she said, "Yeah, it's fine."
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. And also, you saw us walk past you
Confused.
and go down there, and we were we were looking around, and you didn't do anything. And then I said, "Can you move over?" And you granted me.
That it is physically.
Oh my God.
It would be physically impossible for me not to say, "Yeah, I know it's fine.
Right.
That's my seat."
Right. I was really stoned, so that's probably why I didn't.
Couple things here, Dylan. I'm loving this topic that you brought because I love movie theaters and the etiquette and just how the commonplace of being a good human being is completely gone in movie theaters. Okay, first thing, I think this story is going to end because you're already starting off with an experience that seems way too anxiety ridden for me.
Yeah.
I already got to tell someone they got to get the fuck out of my seat.
Yeah.
That strike one.
Right.
Someone messed up your drink earlier.
The
you talked
worst
about?
Negroni ever, yeah.
Oh, okay. One of my, I love going to the Hollywood Bowl, which is similar to going
You're
to
a
a movie
bowler.
theater. I'm a bowler. 18,000 seats. I go to, like 6 shows a season now. But
I've been there. It happens constantly. This is the move. And I've seen you do this. You just go, "Hey, listen, those are our seats. If people come, you got to move. We'll move."
And normally people are cool.
Right.
So this was my wife and I's 1-year anniversary. My wife and I's first date was at the Hollywood Bowl to see John Williams perform. So of
Did
course,
you say you know?
Oh, I don't know if I mentioned
No,
that,
we
but
didn't
we
know.
have a love of the bowl.
Yeah.
That's where we met. That was
You're
our
a bowler.
first date. I'm a bowler. So the following year, I buy us seats to see the same concert on the same night, same date. And, well, as luck would have it, we're on the buses headed to the Hollywood Bowl. Some motorcycle guy, poor sap,
He died.
he hit a Starline tour bus. And died on his motorcycle.
Yeah.
And it made us late for 30 minutes.
Right.
I was pissed, but I understood. Someone lost their life that night. But so we
Depends
show up.
on whose fault it was.
Well, yeah, it was his fault. He was driving crazily. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
I think he was driving all crazy.
Okay, so we show up to the Hollywood Bowl 10 minutes late. The concert had already started. We walk up to our seats. As luck wouldn't have it,
Yeah.
It was a exchange student from kids from Japan where someone bought them all seats, and there was 30 of them all sitting there with plates of food on their laps. And I had to go, and I could measure where our seats were, and I was like, all right, I did the math, the row, count 3 down. I'm like, hey, everybody, that's our seats. And of course, I think there's a language barrier.
Yeah.
And so I said, hey,
Can I ask you really quickly
yeah.
before you move on? Don't do them.
don't do them? What do you mean?
The accent.
Oh, I'm not.
Don't do
oh,
that.
no, I won't do it.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So they're all just staring at me, eating, plugging away at their food. And now I'm looking at my iPhone, and John Williams is into his like 4th song at like Jurassic Park or something like that. And I pointed at 2 people and I said, "Get out!" in the middle of the concert. And they,
0 to 100 real quick.
oh no, I think that's our 2 seats over
got
there.
it,
Do you
got
mind
it, okay.
moving down?
Yeah.
No one felt the need to pay attention
Right,
to me.
right.
No one they don't even know.
Right.
So they needed direct orders on what to do.
Right.
And then I
Because I was
sat
going to
down.
say the language barrier shouldn't play a factor because this is, there are big entertainment venues all over the world, and that's a universal thing. You're in my seat.
Right.
Point to ticket. Point to seat. Point to sell.
Now, here's what's interesting.
3 points.
Here's what's interesting. The 2 people that I said, get the fuck out of my seats, when the wife and I sat down, by the way, we had bought 4 seats that night so we could have space between us because we wanted to have a romantic evening.
Like that Dave Matthews song.
I sat
The
down next to the
space
person that I just told to get out of my fucking seat.
Yeah.
And we brought food too. And, as a gesture of...
You're a bowler.
Now that we're past this,
Yeah.
I had to yell at you and all.
You literally break
I said,
bread.
Yeah.
I said, would you like this? And he shunned me away.
Yeah.
He was deeply offended by the way I'd spoken with him.
Well, yeah, you probably did something
In his country...
culturally,
right,
yeah.
you get a sword over your head,
Over it. Okay.
He's like, hey, man, why couldn't you just ask me?
Hey, what you did back there was really fucking uncool, dude.
Some guy
anyways,
died that night,
So, yeah. This is another podcast show. So, sure, we gab and goof about really whatever is at top of mind. I'm Dylan, saddled up next to Unreal Nicholas Davis.
Ahoy, mateys.
That produces a podcast over there behind my glasses.
Dylan, I have to hear about this
Can
barbarian
you
movie.
say hey?
Oh, hey. Dylan, what's this movie about?
I love to spoil things.
We don't usually do PSAs. I feel like we should do a PSA right now.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
What is it?
Bad TV.
Oh, yeah.
Our Bachelor show. That show sucks. Should be illegal. We switched the feed. It's now called Bad TV.
Bad TV, baby.
We're starting with our coverage of Love is Blind After the Altar Season 2. 3 episodes of some really sad but entertaining people.
Yeah, very dumb, very sad.
They don't know they're sad.
They are locked in a house in New Buffalo, Michigan, and they're all
At
getting
a dumpy
drunk.
Airbnb
Yeah.
with a pool
Yeah.
with no cover in the dead of winter.
Yeah, so Bad TV will be us covering tons of different shows. It is going to be great. So go over there and subscribe, leave 5 stars, help us out. But back to Barbarian, which is not bad TV, but actually really, really good cinema. She says... The imposition that you have just made on me is okay.
Okay.
I'll move over 1 seat. I mean, what a gracious individual, right? There is 1 seat next to her. And the 3 of us sit down. She's directly next to me. And I'm thinking, you're going to need to pop on over because I doubt there's another single coming, you know? Singles go to movie theaters... Single riders. They
During
go to,
the day.
During the day. You don't single ride on a Friday night at the movies.
You're lonely.
It's maybe you're so secure in yourself, but that's you
that's
go during the day.
Everyone's holding hands, or you got the family. Some sad sack ain't showing up there on a Friday. It would just make them. They're staring at a mirror of loneliness.
Right.
Otherwise, you're Jason Segel and forgetting Sarah Marshall, and you're getting derided by Jonah Hill.
Exactly. So I couldn't yet say you're going to need to shove over one, because she could just say, listen, there could be a single rider here like me. So anyways, the movie starts, the trailers start rolling. I get into it. There's no green dot, which is great. And the movie starts, and she is not moving. And let me just end this anticlimactically, because the story is not important. She doesn't move the entire movie.
Well, you don't know if it was her seat or not, right?
But there is an empty seat directly next to her, and she could have moved over.
Oh, that's your beef.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What kind of insane person?
She wanted to be near people.
She's
she's lonely. It's a Friday.
Enough though. What kind of insane person does not move over one?
Were you thinking during the movie there was a chance at some point in the middle of all
No.
the action she was gonna? Because you're like, she didn't move once the movie starts.
No,
she's not moving.
Yeah, no, you're right. She was not moving. But I gotta say, what a wonderful seat partner, because she was.
Share your arms? Did she share her arm?
No, the ArcLight's got big arms. There's plenty of room for
You have
both.
to share a cup holder.
No.
Okay.
She was an elderly black woman, and she was just stereotypically lovely throughout the entire movie. Oh, baby. Don't, girl. It was just so much fun.
How come you can do her and he can't do
The
wherever those
Japanese
people
boy,
were?
arbitrary lines. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
He's a hypocrite.
And I apologize to every single person I've offended with that racially insensitive and bigoted impression.
Dylan, what's this movie about?
I think we allow him to do it. I don't think you should apologize. Not what I'm saying.
I am so sorry to each and every one of you. I'm going to Opus Dei myself when I get back home. I am not going to tell you
Just give me the
No.
beats.
No, because...
I can go on my phone and look up the beats.
No.
Is it a sequel to any of the Conans with Arnold
Are you
Schwarzenegger?
fucking kidding me? You just want me to say what the movie's
just
about?
give me the setup.
A girl goes to an Airbnb in Detroit. The Skarsgård brother that played Pennywise is already there. There has been a mishap.
Oh, yeah. That looked amazing.
Right. There has been a mishap in the reservation, and they're both there in the house.
Okay. All right. We talked about this. All right. You reminded me. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Now, the beauty of this film is that in the marketing, they have concealed what this movie actually is about. And all I will say is it has cabin in the woods kind of vibes.
Oh, I love that. All right. Well, you're kind of giving it away. People are looking on, and it's an experiment.
No.
No.
It's just...
It's not old.
Spoiler alert. Never seen it.
It's funny.
There's a
it's
limit,
scary. There's heart. There's terror. Go see it in a movie theater with everybody around. We've got a lot of stuff to get into this evening. I was invited by my mother's friends to come over to their house and have dinner with them. Just me and my wife with two elderly friends of my mother's. Why was that text sent to me? I don't know. Did I have a good time? We'll talk about it on another episode.
Oh, really?
I've monopolized too much time. We have a lot of stuff to get to.
I'm losing confidence in the book list, to be honest. we all marked them down, but no. We'll talk about it. But I'm just saying, I would talk about. That sounds interesting.
Dylan, I'm sorry. I have to pry because I
get high and I just lose it.
I have this thing with my life where I'm a social person. I'm way more social than both of you.
Okay.
And
Jesus, man.
I try and I'm like that movie. Yes, is it Yes Man with Jim Carrey?
It's Liar, Liar 2. Yeah.
Where if someone asks me to do something, because my wife and I always complain, I can't count on Dylan or you to invite me to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So when a couple or someone invites Shree and I to go do something,
You're an
always
automatic
say,
liar,
yes.
liar. Yeah.
Now, on Saturday, this couple that just happened to be walking by about a month ago with their dog, we started talking about the zombie apocalypse, and we bonded on that. But I feel their politics are way a little bit further along.
Super right wing, huh?
Yes, than Shreezy and I. And I don't think he's a listener yet, Greg. I'm dreading going to their house for dinner on Saturday.
Right.
I don't want to do it, but we said, yes, we'll do it. So you got invited to a dinner that I assume you weren't looking forward to, Dylan. And
I'm just pretty excited to hear how that goes. Like, how familiar does this guy get? Is he just going to start throwing out?
Let me do this because it'll be a good segue into the book talk.
Okay, yeah. No confidence in the book? No.
My mother has hosted these people. They live down the block many times. We've had numerous dinners with them.
So you're familiar.
We're familiar with them.
It honestly sounds like a plot to its own horror movie.
Right.
An elderly couple invites this young, and you just think it's
Then
going to be
they eat
wholesome.
you.
Yeah.
And then they kill you.
can I
Get in the bowl.
Can I tell
Get
you?
the bowl.
I know this sounds incredibly insane as a thought.
Yeah.
I would go out to dinner with more people that I'm uncomfortable with the thought of doing it. You know, we know each other. I'd love to have dinner with you guys. I know each other. We'll mix it up. We'll have fun.
It's unfortunate.
But people that I
Cherie
don't
went
know, and the night drags on, that's the part that I am the entire time working towards getting dressed the week before out. I'm like, how long does this go where it's uncomfortable? If we had a clock as human beings that said at 9:30,
Oh, so many thoughts.
dinner ends, and wherever you're at, and maybe you might be at a part where you're in a position where you're like, I wish this could go on for another hour.
That is the better place to leave it.
Right. Then leave.
Yes.
Then the dread of, God, this is uncomfortable. Woo, look at the time. It's 5:30.
So I love that you brought this up because I just went to a small dinner at a friend's house, and they just had a new baby. And when I got there, I said, what time do you want us to leave? Did I talk about
Nice.
this?
Nice.
I said, what time do you want us to leave? And they were like, what? We'll figure it out. And I was like, I would prefer
You want an end time?
if you give us a window so that we can know
What time to leave?
we need to start looking for exit ways.
Because when the
we
wife
need to start
disappears and
looking.
I'm just staring at you as the husband because she's doing some bed stuff.
Right.
Now, I don't want to just talk to you. We want to go home.
And I would never be. I don't stay places late, so I would never be in that.
Well, the first 4 years I knew you, you did that little thing where you'd show up with a bottle. Hey, I'm happy to be here. And then you go, you make a little small talk for 8 minutes and then you go, well, I got to go. You were definitely an in and out guy.
He did that on occasion, but you exaggerate. You had fight nights, and
I've been here for hours. Yeah.
I was gonna.
I always appreciated you said goodbye. You didn't do the Irish goodbye.
Thank you, Pat.
Your yearbook voters were right. What you were explaining, establishing this new social paradigm where your host must announce what time you should leave.
I would
totally
appreciate it.
Larry David.
I would appreciate it if they did. So I kind of forced their hand. They were like, I don't know, somewhere between 10 and 10:30. And I was like, was that so hard? So this is why I think I prefer hanging out with the elderly. The night is not going to go on for a super long time. In fact, when we went over there,
You go over to their house.
we go over to their
Now,
house.
old people's houses smell. Anything you're picking
They're
up?
not old. They're in their 60s.
Okay, they're
you
young.
know.
Yeah.
So, very vibrant people. They go to the theater a lot. They go out. One is a what do you call it? Docet at a Neutra house. They're fucking, you know.
Lots of questions. Is
Okay.
it awkward when you show up because you got to make small talk because you
Very awkward because I thought they were coming to our house. So I stayed at my house for
Jesus
15
Christ.
minutes, and I said, "Hey, you guys coming over?" And he said, "No." You're
What's
supposed
in
to
it for
come
your
over here."
mom where she's trying to set this up?
My mother is currently gallivanting around Italy, so we're house sitting, and my mom said you guys should have dinner.
I like
Okay.
how usually gallivanting is like a term parents use for their children who haven't like established a career. It's like your
yeah.
your mother shouldn't be after earning
Yeah.
her freedom traveling.
No, yeah,
abroad.
she's worked hard enough. She is gallivanting around Italy. So we go over there, and the reason why we have kind of a kinship is because We read a lot of the same books. Like, I don't know, we bonded on books. They read a lot of shit. We've read some of the stuff that they have read.
That sounds like a good segue.
Dylan, let me pour you a glass of brandy and show you my book collection.
It's not quite like that, but their book collection is incredible, and it is a feature of their living room. You can see it from the front yard. It's like a dream. It's just so beautiful. But so that was kind of there's a comfortability there. We can talk about that kind of stuff. And at around 9 o'clock at night, I'm starting to get that tug, right? I look over.
Tug from your wife. Hey, let's get the fuck out of here.
I'm starting to feel like, when are we going to leave? I'm looking for an exit way, which is why I need a window. I look over, and yes, the patriarch of the household is asleep.
Wow.
And his partner goes, "Hey, would you?" And we go, "You know what? That's a great time to leave." He sent me a text apologizing. I said, "I love that you did that. I want to do that in every social setting I'm in." But yes, they're.
Did you eat food?
Yeah, we had some food.
You probably got an earful from the wife. How rude that was when you guys walked out.
She loved it. She thought it was really funny.
Yeah. Well, what she said is, "Hey, all the young people we bring over here, they never want to hang out with us." And then he was like, "Well, that's because we smell."
So, anyways, I borrowed a book.
Didn't even get to boil.
We're old.
I borrowed a book, All the Things That We Cannot See. It's about the fucking Holocaust. Anyway, so so I only want to hang out with the elderly because it was a perfect night.
Oh, I love the elderly. So my Aunt Pauline, who's not my... Hold on, I'm going to wrap this up.
Oh, no.
So when I went back to Massachusetts, my cousin Jim Burleton, who's 82, and his lovely girlfriend Pauline, who I learned was one of the girls of Whitey Bulger. Her stories are crazy. They're both from Boston.
Yeah.
I told old Pauline, who's I think 79, who I've met in person probably a handful of times, but I said, "Hey, Pauline, good night, Pauline. I love you." And she said, "Sure you do."
Oh.
As she walked out, because she's an old real person. Like,
what?
We've only
what does that mean?
Well, she probably doesn't like the young kids throwing that word. Hey, I love you, kid.
So
sure you do.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was jarring to me.
She sounds bitter and sad.
Yeah, she sounds like
was a
witch.
stripper. She was a dancing girl at one of Whitey Bulger's clubs.
Oh, so she is bitter and sad.
She witnessed all the murders and.
Oh yeah, so that's why her voice is all affected because of the trauma.
Yeah.
Got it. So, anyways, I love the in and out, the conversation with the elderly, and I don't mean to say elderly referring to 60-year-olds. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But I took the book, I headed out. I'm excited to read it and go back over there for another hour and a half conversation, and then when he falls asleep, we can leave. But the reason why this is a segue.
Did he recommend the book, or did you pick the book out?
I picked the book out. But he said it's a great book. So what Nick wanted to speak of this evening was what is this list?
Well, last week you talked about your effort to dive into the Brothers Karamazov.
Yeah, my slog.
How's that going? Did you give that up?
No, I finished it. But
is this the 800 pager?
Yeah, it's a
Dostoevsky
Russian shit. And
They're all long.
It makes me sad because it's not. Of course, it's good, but it's not fun.
And
nobody's gonna. We got Love Is Blind to watch. Who the fuck is reading that shit?
45 minutes, way more fun.
Right.
I can scroll on my phone at the same time.
Yes.
Look at lines.
China won. TikTok's here.
So when you mentioned that has actually been on a list of mine for a long time.
Yeah.
Because in like 2013, I discovered this 100 books every man should read.
Right.
And there's really no reason, I believe, that it had to be gender specific.
Right.
It's that type of language that I'm so glad we have gotten past.
Right, 100%. Congrats to Woman of the Year, Rachel Levine. Is one of the books How to Slay Pussy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cracking the Code actually made the list, even though it was unreleased. No. It is not.
And if you can't hear Pat, that's because he is back at the bar pouring himself another white trash mimosa.
So it has been on my list because it was actually number 15,
Okay.
I think, or 14. Where's my mouse at?
Yeah, I saw it in there.
Yeah.
So all there,
It was
it's
it was 14 on the list.
Yeah.
And I've wanted to read all these and never got around to almost any of them, which I realized, except the ones that I was basically forced to read in high school.
A lot of these, I think we'll all have read because we're force fed them.
They're
when
part
we're
of the
being
curriculum.
Educated, yeah.
But I was just interested, and I actually want to know. I'll post the list online as well. How many all our listeners have read? I have another Corey T-shirt. Maybe whoever.
Oh yeah, whoever's read the most of these, and don't lie.
Don't lie. We're in a trust tree. It goes both ways. Don't lie.
Don't lie.
Whoever says they've read the most, we'll send out another Corey shirt.
I love the prize of a Corey Feldman T-shirt.
We got to get a couple more.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was curious how many you guys have read.
Yeah.
I have read 11.
11.
Great Gatsby, Brave New World, The Sun Also Rises, For Whom the Bell Tolls, big Hemingway guy.
Yeah.
The Lord of the Flies, which we talk about all the time.
Yeah, Piggy.
The Art of War, easy one to knock. If you just want to knock off the list, it's like 80 pages or
Yeah,
something.
a little fat kid dies in that one too.
Hatchet by Gary Paulsen. All honesty, read to me by my third grade teacher.
Sure.
Over a number of nap times.
Right.
But I did love the book nonetheless. And I also then read on my own Brian's Winter, the follow-up, because one of the big complaints of Hatchet.
What is Hatchet?
Hatchet is a boy who a 16-year-old boy who gets stranded in Alaska on a plane crash, and he survives through the summer
By killing a bunch of people and eating them? What is it?
He like one time he sleeps in type of big moose carcass and stuff in the
like a tauntaun.
Yeah.
George Lucas stole that.
And Gary Paulsen is a very good nature writer,
right?
In that, like, the stuff he was writing is real, but one of the big complaints
He's been in the shit.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
One of the big complaints of Hatchet was that he ended up getting picked up right before winter started, like a plane finally after months.
Right.
And people wanted to see what would happen if he went through winter. So Gary Paulsen had an alternate ending where he actually had
Spoiler alert, he dies.
No, I think that's the one where he slept in the carcass, actually, because of how cold it was.
Yeah, because you die when you're in Alaska in the winter on your own in the wilderness.
Grapes of Wrath.
Yeah.
AP English, no big deal. I was the only boy of 12 people.
No big deal.
Fahrenheit 451, The Outsiders, and that's it.
Yeah. The Outsiders is a weird one because we read it, but it's also like a teen heartthrob movie back when Old Man River over here was kicking about, right?
Insane cast. Matt Dillon.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise.
Ralph Macchio. Corey Feldman, right?
Now,
Nature's First Green is Gold.
remember I did that PMZ of that rock singer who almost killed a guy who was paralyzed, and they did a behind the music on him. Leif Garrett.
Leif Garrett, yeah. And he kind of reconciled with the guy that had almost killed him.
How you doing, man? Tripping. You ain't tripping. You're in a fucking wheelchair, dude.
Well, he could be tripping.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you gonna name a couple of other stars that were in Outsiders, or did we pretty much knock them off the list? It did sound like kind of a
Leif
There's a couple more.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of hot kids in
who's
that.
the guy who's dead? Patrick Swayze. Did you say that name?
I did
He's
not.
the older brother in that.
Crazy for Swayze.
Was River Phoenix in it?
No, he wasn't even born yet.
Okay. That's not true.
He's probably born, but he's like 4.
Okay. So, I've read 22 of these, but it's
impressive.
It's just because
This is yours or mine?
This is yours. Pat.
That's Pat.
Yeah.
I don't have one for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
But I have your.
Yeah. No. But a lot of them.
What was that Stein? I didn't see that. Oh, there is.
You read The Road, Pat?
Yeah, I did.
That's a bummer, huh?
Real bummer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And
Did you text it?
I airdropped it.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't click on it, but I saw a lot of the movie versions of the books too. You know.
That was hard for me not to lie. But then I went back to our backs. Don't lie.
Yeah, the Theodore Roosevelt trilogy, great movie.
Mm-hmm.
Great movie. Wealth of Nations is a fantastic film.
I have read Adam Smith's other book the name escapes me at the moment. But.
Yeah, that's how you became.
Brave New World was a movie too. God.
Yep. Yeah, so Pat
It's
read...
the Call of the Wild. Oh, that's a different version. So I read White Fang. That's different than the Call of the Wild, obviously. By Jack White. Okay.
Yes, Jack London.
Yeah, so 12 books.
11.
Oh, yeah.
Because the top line doesn't count. But yeah, so Pat read The Great Gatsby, The Prince, The Republic. The
The Prince is Tupac Shakur's favorite book, you know.
Really? That's the type of dumb fact that would lead me to read a book. Like, oh,
yeah.
Like I was into
Didn't
Tupac.
help Tupac though. He got fucking killed.
That's true.
I've never
By
read it.
Suge Knight, mostly.
Isn't it supposed to grant you immortality when you read that book?
The Prince is basically the early version of 48 Powers.
I'm kidding. So the really fucked up thing about this list, and shame
just
on,
for the audio listeners. He read The Republic, The Road by Cormac McCarthy, A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens, The Divine Comedy by Dante. That's an impressive one, Pat, in my opinion.
Tough read.
Oh yeah.
Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe, The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck, The Outsiders, Paradise Lost. And
Heart of Darkness. I had no idea I was reading Apocalypse Now. That's how dumb I was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I read Heart of Darkness for my love of Apocalypse Now, the greatest movie ever made.
Is it also a documentary?
Hearts of Darkness
his
is the
wife,
documentary.
The director, his wife, did a documentary and called it Heart of Darkness. Yeah. Right?
And you've seen
Hearts
that
of
and love it
Darkness.
as well, don't you?
I don't love that documentary because there's fucking sows getting stuck with fucking stakes. They have a lot of the indigenous footage.
Killing that cow.
I've talked about it a lot. When they kill that water buffalo, they actually were chopping its fucking head off because that's what making movies in the
Hey,
60s
what's
and
Fahrenheit
70s like.
451? I know the documentary that
It's about book burning.
Dystopian future, they ban books.
Yeah, they burn books.
So what was the play that they did with 9/11 George Bush?
Fahrenheit 9/11, I think, right?
Yeah, but it there's no correlation.
There wasn't.
No.
And why call it that?
I don't know. Michael Moore's a goofy goose, but
Maybe there was. I don't know.
Yeah, was it important that he said that Dick Cheney is the one that did 9/11?
Oh, you also read The Road.
Yeah.
Dylan.
Yes. I've my dad is a very, very big Cormac McCarthy guy.
Yeah, that's why that name was so familiar. You said it.
One of my favorite books of all time is I think
How old is that book?
The Road? Not that old. I think it's from
20 years?
I think it's 90s or early 2000s.
Obviously an arbitrary list, but I do find it interesting. I think it says something of like the ones you've, especially the
all
ones
my
you've
shit was
chosen.
college. They all made me read that in college.
Yeah.
The Road came out in 2006. Crazy. Yeah, he has this book called Child of God about a neurodivergent necrophiliac, and it's a short book. Of course, James Franco wanted to adapt it. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. You're so pretentious. But
Go back to fucking your students.
I was just going to say, does
Yeah.
that movie have any characters that he could cast as young women and then sexually assault them?
he could cast the dead body that he has sex
You want to
with.
know one of the weirdest books I ever read? And it was a girl that I was dating for like 3 months. She gifted it to me, and she would ask me like, what'd you think about this chapter? It was almost like a, what do you call it? Like a book reading group or something.
Yeah,
club?
yeah.
I believe Tom Hanks did a
You
film
didn't-
about it.
you didn't have book
It was
club?
about 9/11. It's like While I'm Quietly Sleeping. It had the most like pretentious title of a book. It was very famous.
Oh, it was about 9/11?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just they adapted that, I think.
Yeah.
I very closely read most. I didn't finish it, but the 9/11 Commission report.
Oh my god.
It was just like at the library, like right after it happened. You know me, I'm a patriot. So
Right. What is that fucking movie called? It has the dumbest title ever.
It's the crazy. So get this. So I only read half of it, and then I don't. I break up with that girl, and the next girl I'm dating sees the book still sitting on, my bedside,
extremely loud, incredibly close.
and she apparently doesn't read. Used to give books to people, and you write something beautiful on the inside. We don't do that anymore. That was a lovely thing that happened. And anyway, she completely avoids that, and she goes, hey, I always wanted to read this book. I just got done banging her. And she asked to borrow the book. She never picked up the phone again. She stole my book.
Right.
Can you believe that?
That's so crazy. Like,
And think about how you better give that book to that old man before he dies, because it festers forever.
Oh yeah.
I've been holding that in for 20 years.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing where, like, if that old man fucked me and then I just took his book and never gave it back and he died, it would just eat away. Yeah.
No, I'm saying him. He'll never forget it until he dies. So he'll be wondering if Dylan's ever going to return that.
Oh,
book.
that's
How
a good
much
point,
time
yeah.
do we have? Can I do a little thing for me?
So jump in the comments. I'm going to post a list. Let me know how many you've read and which
How
ones.
long have we been going?
I wanna. There's definitely more meat on this bone. I wanted to say shame on us for none of us have read.
1984 George Orwell?
No, I have.
Oh.
None of us have read the Bible.
Oh,
I tried, dude.
And also, let's.
I read a lot of
I
the
read
Bible,
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Right.
but I've never read it start to finish.
Okay,
obviously.
a couple things about this list. One, this list has books on it that are not known by people, and they shouldn't be on a list.
Most of them I've heard. I haven't heard of King Solomon's Mines.
Oh,
That's a movie.
I read on the road. Okay, so the other thing,
23. Dylan,
I've read
leader in the clubhouse.
I've read
You might get
Paradise
yourself a Corey
Lost.
Feldman shirt.
I read Paradise Lost and these complicated books, but Pat, we haven't read Paradise Lost.
Yeah, I read it in college.
Here's the thing. It's so sad. I guess you read these things in the hope that at least one thing gets planted in your brain and changes your perspective, because in all likelihood, you're not really going to remember them all that much unless they're really impacting for some reason the stars aligned. I remember reading Paradise Lost in college and it being the greatest class I've ever taken, legitimately my favorite educational experience ever. But if you tried to read that on your own,
Oh, yeah.
it's literally impossible. You won't know what the fuck is going on. I think it was written in the fucking 14 and 1500s or something. These books are going to be dead soon. There's just no one is fucking reading this
I hope
shit.
not.
We're keeping it alive.
And I get why you're not. I don't fault you for not. I don't blame anybody for not wanting to fucking read Walden.
Now that I'm getting...
that's the one I
I
want
read
to
that.
read.
Was that on the list?
Yeah.
Oh, I read that too. That was so boring. Him,
It's so
every day
boring.
starts
Is
with
it?
a diary
Yes.
of going out and walking down a fucking path. That's the Walden
Yeah,
Woods
yeah,
thing.
the lake, yeah.
Oh my God, I'd kill myself.
Interesting, because when I was living in my car, but then my boss at Matman found out I didn't have barely any possessions, but I had 2 giant boxes of books, and one was this really beautifully illustrated copy of Walden.
Yeah.
And I had it sitting in his warehouse, and I'm pretty sure this lady who worked for it stole all my books and sold them piecemeal.
Yeah, what a bitch.
And it was really, really crushing. I had a number of other things in there that I had tended to get to.
Yeah.
And Walden, I really...
I think that they...
he's got it on his shelf.
My copies of the books.
Oh, that's awesome. Look at that. The Gatsby.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, Walden fucking sucks, and I don't blame anybody for not reading this shit because, again...
Well, I lied. She didn't steal the book.
We're too busy. You know, who has time?
Oh, she did steal the 22 years, Pat.
I read what's in there. I want to see what the girl wrote. What's that book about living in Ireland? It might have been that one.
The Dubliners.
Now it's...
Riverdance.
It's like a really sad family. I think they made a movie about that,
dude,
too.
this is such a bummer. The end of this book is what do you call it? It's a flip book of the jumper, the guy that jumped out of the fucking Twin Towers, but he's just going up. Oh God, Pat, what the fuck, man? That's such a bummer. Go to Patreon. Let us know how many of these.
Here's my notes trying to understand Paradise Lost, probably from 20 years ago.
Oh, dude,
This is fun.
That's so crazy.
Read it aloud.
This is an 18-year-old. I don't know what I wrote.
Milton, a fundamentalist Christian, a poet, lived and wrote in the 17th century. Yeah, it was the 1600s. Oh, dude.
The 17th century means the 1600s, you ding dong.
This
That's
is
what
pretty
I
well.
said. I said 1500s.
This is pretty well annotated. I feel like he did read.
Yeah, no.
I don't
dude.
lie.
No, but I'm just saying. He goes, we didn't read. He was just saying that you read it page to page, but you didn't really. You took this in. Like,
I tried.
To adore the conqueror, who now beholds cherub and seraph rolling in the flood with scattered arms and in signs, till anon his swift.
I wrote that?
Fucking. All right, so we got to wrap up the show. Go to Patreon. Let us know how many of these you've read. If you have read the most, you'll win a Corey Feldman T-shirt.
yeah. Don't lie.
Don't lie. All right, we've been going for a long time.
All right, let's
I think.
go.
Yeah.
This was self-indulgent, I feel.
I feel like you're like quoting Jack Nicholson in The Departed. He's smashing Leo's hand, and he goes, "Don't lie, don't lie."
Drop the iTunes ratings and reviews. Comment under this video. Comment in your favorite book. Write your favorite book underneath this video. Okay, do it. Don't lie. I'm Dylan saying goodbye. Nick, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Pat, say goodbye.
Later.